I didn't sleep after seeing myself on the porch. I locked every door, every window, even though deep down I knew it wouldn't matter. This house isn't held together by wood and nails. It breathes, it waits, and now I think it's playing with me. That version of me, whatever he was, he never knocked again. Just stood out there for hours, watching, smiling. Eventually he was gone. No sound, no footsteps, just vanished. But he left something behind. A single item on the doormat. A cracked mirror, about the size of a dinner plate. Framed in rusted brass, the glass spiderweb through the center like it had been dropped hard, maybe by him, or maybe by the last person this house swallowed. I should have left it there. Should have kicked it into the woods. Instead, I brought it inside. That's when things got worse. The moment I crossed the threshold with that mirror, I felt it, like the air shifted again, pressed tighter. It was harder to breathe. I set the mirror on the fireplace mantel in the study and stared at my reflection. My face looked wrong. Still mine, technically. But there was a flicker in the eyes, like whoever was on the other side of that glass was only pretending to be me. I blinked. So did he, but a second too late. That's when I saw it. Something behind me in the reflection. A figure, tall, veiled, unmoving, standing in the doorway to the hall. I spun around, nothing there. Back to the mirror. Still nothing. Then, written across the top edge of the cracked glass, I noticed tiny etched letters. The door opens both ways. I didn't know what that meant at the time. Now I do. The house has mirrors in almost every room. I'd noticed that before, but hadn't thought much of it. Now, they seem to be communicating. Each one showed slightly different reflections. Not optical illusions, not subtle shifts in perspective. I mean actual differences. In one mirror, the hallway behind me looked darker, longer. In another, my reflection's mouth moved, even when mine didn't. Some mirrors made my reflection younger, or older. One showed me missing half my face. But worst of all, some mirrors didn't show me at all. That night, I tried covering the mirrors. Bed sheets, towels, anything. But every time I'd walk out of the room and come back, they were uncovered again. Like the house was watching me watch myself. That night I heard whispers, coming from the mirror on the mantel. They weren't in English, but I understood them anyway. "He's almost done painting you." Around 2 a.m., I heard laughter. Children. I don't know why that made it worse. Maybe because there weren't supposed to be any children here. I followed the sound upstairs. Every hallway looked longer now, more warped. Like the geometry of the house was shifting room by room. I found the nursery again, even though it had vanished before. Door wide open, toys arranged in a perfect circle. A mobile spun slowly over the crib. The lullaby tune was broken now, slightly off key, like it was being played underwater. There were new paintings on the walls. Children this time, dressed in old-fashioned clothes. Blank stares, pale faces, and each one had something in common. A cracked mirror in their hands. I heard a giggle behind me and turned just in time to see something small dart past the door. I followed, slowly, down the hallway, around the corner, to a new door. This one had no handle, just a keyhole, small, brass, and hanging from a hook beside it. My key. The one I'd been given when I took the job. Except it had changed. It was longer now, covered in small carvings, symbols I didn't recognize. I held it in my hand and I swear I felt it pulse, like a heartbeat. I unlocked the door. It creaked open. Inside was a small windowless room, and at the center, a mirror, floor to ceiling. No cracks, just smooth, polished glass, and it hummed like a machine warming up. I stepped closer. My reflection wasn't matching my movements anymore. It stayed still while I approached. Then, it smiled, raised its hand, waved, then pointed to the corner of the room behind me. I turned around, nothing there, turned back. The reflection was gone, just an empty room in the glass. And then the mirror started to ripple, like water. And something began crawling through. I ran, didn't wait to see what it was. Back down the hallway. The house shook behind me, walls pulsing like lungs. I slammed the door shut behind me, turned the key, and it snapped in half. I heard nails scratching on the other side of the wood. Then, nothing, just silence. The next morning, the mirror on the mantel was gone. So was the study. I mean, literally, it wasn't there anymore. In its place was another hallway I didn't recognize. Shorter this time. Only one door at the end. On it, a plaque. Gallery of the Unfinished. I stood there for a long time. Didn't go in. Couldn't. Instead, I walked the house, looking for some proof that this is still reality. My bag was gone. So was my car key. My shoes were wet like I'd been outside, but I hadn't been. I checked the front door, still locked, still chained. And when I looked through the peephole, he was back. The other me, still smiling. Except this time, he held something in his hand. A mirror, smeared with blood. He placed it gently on the doormat, tipped his head like he was listening, then mouthed two words I will never forget. Your turn. I didn't sleep again. That other version of me had left the mirror on the doorstep, and even though I didn't open the door, it ended up inside anyway. I found it that morning, propped neatly on the kitchen table. No blood now, just a faint handprint on the glass. Mine, I didn't touch it. Instead, I stood in front of the new hallway where the study used to be. The plaque on the door still read, Gallery of the Unfinished. This house wants me to go in, and I think I have to. The hallway to the gallery felt off, shorter than before, but heavier. Like the air was thick with static. Each step felt like I was wading into deep water. When I reached the door, it opened before I could touch it. No creak this time, just silence. Inside was a massive room, far bigger than the house should allow. The walls stretched up into darkness, no ceiling in sight. And every surface was covered in paintings. Hundreds of them, all in various states of being finished. Portraits, landscapes, twisted, abstract horrors. Half of them looked like they were screaming. And then I saw myself. Again, dozens of times. In the center of the gallery was an empty easel and a single spotlight, beaming down from somewhere above. Beneath it, a paint-stained stool, and a canvas turned backward. I approached it slowly, and before I could touch it, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned. No one. But one of the paintings on the wall had changed. Now, the figure in it wasn't just me. It was the veiled woman behind me, her hands on my shoulders. I backed away. Another painting shifted. This one showed me in the mirror room, but the reflection was no longer just me. It was something with black holes for eyes. And then I heard the voice again. That same whisper from before, but clearer now. The house remembers you. The house paints what you forget. It was coming from behind the canvas. I walked around it, and there, standing where I should have been, was a version of me. Younger, eyes hollow, clothes stained. He looked up at me and whispered, I didn't leave either. Then he crumbled, like dry leaves. Gone. Behind where he stood was a trapdoor in the floor. Small, iron, sealed with a ring latch. I pried it open. A narrow stairwell descended into pitch black. I should have stopped. I should have run. Instead, I climbed down. The stairs led into a tunnel. Cracked stone, damp walls. It smelled like mold and ash. At the end was a wooden door, just like the one in the first mirror room. Etched above it, Harlem. I pushed it open and stepped into a small room, barely lit by candlelight. Bookshelves lined the walls. Old rotting tomes. Dust everywhere. And in the center, an altar. Not religious, not exactly. More like artistic. Brushes, bones, broken frames. And carved into the altar was a symbol I recognized. The same one for my altar key. The one I hadn't seen in weeks. And next to the altar was a painting. One I hadn't seen before. It was me, alone, sitting in a chair, veil over my face, paintbrush in hand. And behind me, dozens of children, all veiled, all watching. Then the candlelight flickered and I heard a voice, a real one this time. Female, crisp, calm. Some things never finish themselves, it said. I turned dash, and the veiled woman stood in the doorway. But this time, she lifted the veil. And what was underneath wasn't a face, it was a mirror. Smooth, reflective. And in it, I didn't see myself. I saw you, staring back.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more horror tales.